Hello, everybody, and welcome on into Sidelines. On today's episode, we talk track as the team gets ready for their first meet here in a couple of weeks. Welcome back into Sidelines. Let's talk track and field as we have a couple of speedsters joining us here at the desk. Henry Polanco, Ramddy Melendez, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you.
So, obviously, not to dwell on it, but with last year, you guys got the indoor season, but right after the championship event, everything was cut down. What were the emotions last year losing that outdoor season?
You want to go ahead and go first?
No, you got this one.
All right. Losing the outdoor season, it was kind of tough. We were looking forward to it. We had a lot of older guys with us, with me and Henry. We were like the younger guys last year, so we had a lot of older guys with us, and we were excited to take on the new season because we aren't, as, experienced as they are.
Yeah.
So we were looking forward to the outdoor season to show, our medal, what we got.
Yeah, it was very, it was disappointing because not losing, but, having to go home early because we were working so hard all season. And, we were just, at the end of indoor, we were just starting to pop off and, get into the motion, getting used to everything. And we were getting ready to eat for outdoor, and Corona just came and just smacked us in the face.
So during that time and when you guys are home and not on the track training here, how do you try to stay with that race pace, trying to stay at that point where you were at the end of indoor last year?
Sometimes, when quarantine came around, it was kind of hard to work out and everything, because we were just stuck inside. At times I would forget I'm even an athlete. That's how much I was inside. So it would just consist of trying to do workouts inside the house, or maybe do workouts outside in the back. It was different though.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Personally with myself, I'm like an energy bunny. So I'm around my house, I'm doing push-ups. I'm I got to do something.
Yeah.
So it was pretty rough, but we stayed active. Yeah, we got some stuff done.
So we've just seen actually throughout the country that sprinters, you guys have been the ones affected probably the most out of everyone in terms of track, in terms of numbers going down. What do you have to do, especially in this early practice period, to try and get that back up, to try and be where you guys were at the end of indoor?
A lot of it starts technically, with the technical or form, trying to get everything right, perfect how we had it last year. Because when it comes to form, if you don't have your form, then you can't run. So it's form got to come down first, and then it all comes down to stamina and how long we can maintain. And that's probably the roughest part because we're all out of shape, but
After you got to put that work in. You're not just gonna. You come back from quarantine, you could have been doing workouts at home and everything, but it's nothing compared to the workouts that we do when we're up here. We're working twice a day, full-fledged, hard, working hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
The other challenge, of course, just being at a school in the Northeast is the weather doesn't always cooperate with you. And with
Cold as hell.
I'm a summer baby. I'm not for this.
Indoor
Florida
facility.
babies.
Florida baby.
The track being covered with snow, obviously that has an effect. What do you guys do inside that can try to give you a track experience?
So we usually use KFC, and we use a gym inside, or we would go to Decker and use the treadmills, the woodways. We have very nice treadmills that reach very top high speeds, and we go at it. We train as hard as we can on those treadmills as if we're on the track,
I'm gonna be real, Drew. Last year we didn't do much of the inside stuff. We was running outside.
We was outside the whole
time
time in the cold,
sprinting in the snow. But that's what sets us apart though. That's what I feel makes us different compared to all other teams.
Okay.
So the other new for this year is a new head coach that you guys have. What has Jamal's expertise? How has that helped you guys?
Love that guy. He came in. He just he set the tone. As soon as he showed up, it was just the complete 180. We have all these new stretches, all these new drills, all these and we're learning so much. Yeah.
That I didn't even know track
we didn't know existed last year at all.
Yeah. It was instant. The first day he came here, he was teaching us stuff that I was already feeling when I was running. I was like, oh, like I'm really messing with coach. Like, yeah.
I was going crazy. He had us feeling great for sure.
And how important is that, do you think, to be able to have that bond with your coach?
Nah,
and how is that going to help you?
You definitely have to have like a close bond with your coach, because if, let's say you don't have a close bond with your coach, things can start to feel like, like they drag in, things like that. But if you're cool with your coach, like you guys, like it's like family or the team in general, like you guys can really click and everything just becomes like, it's not just like, oh, let's get to work. The work can be fun, you know what I mean? You can enjoy it.
Exactly. So that's like our team, we take pride in it. We're a very tight-knit team. Like we're always together.
Yeah.
We really like, family is like what, like we prioritize it because it's just like, we're a team, we're a family, we're with each other every day, like most hours of the day. So it's like, we go to work together, we go to war together.
Exactly.
That's it, we stick together, that's it.
It's interesting, too, because I think a lot of people see track and field and they think, oh, that's an individual sport. You're doing that. But how important is that team aspect and that
Exactly.
team bond?
It's individual to a point. It's individual because you're running your own race, but it's not individual because like if Henry's on the track, he got a full team with him watching his race, screaming his name like, yo, Henry, you gotta go. Like, come on,
when you
let's
have go. support from your teammates and it's genuine support, like you could feel the energy in the air. It pushes you. It like brings out the inner beast inside of you.
For
like,
sure. Because at that point, you're not even doing it for yourself no more. You're doing it for your team. You're doing it for your squad.
Yeah.
And that means just a lot more.
That's just crazy. But you be out there hearing it, come on.
It's a
You
different type of
pushing, like
feeling.
you push the limits you thought you
Exactly, bro.
past limits you didn't even know you had. Like
Heart
it's
racing.
crazy. Heart racing, adrenaline pumping. Love
Adrenaline
it.
pumping.
Yeah.
It should be good. And hey, you'll still have those teammates. There might not be
course.
fans, so to speak, but to have those teammates, I'm sure, is a huge plus for you guys. So I do want to go back and a little bit to look at the last meet you guys were in. Yeah, it was an indoor, but it was a championship event that you guys took place in. So what can you take from that, a championship atmosphere and the best of the best in this conference, and look forward to this outdoor season? Because you're all kind of in the same boat.
Go ahead, big dog.
We really learned, like we came into this as freshmen, of course, and we made it to PSAC champions, and we really learned like this takes time. Like you really gotta like take step by step. You can't just go out there and just like not even just race, but you can't just force things. Like everything really does take time. You really gotta go through the motions, get used to things, when that happens and you let things like settle in, everything just starts happening naturally. Like it just starts, things just start popping off.
Last year was an experience for sure. Just because I only ran about a year of track in high school and I got recruited. So it was like I never ran indoor before, never done any of it. First year, I'm like PSAC championships and it's all learning. We're just soaking it in like a sponge. And we had all our older guys. So it was like me and Henry are the freshmen and everyone else is like, juniors, almost seniors. We had Mo, Don, Caden, like a lot of guys that just took us under our wing and they was like, yo, just watch, pay attention and soak everything in. So now this year, we have like probably 2 new guys, but like now we're experienced and we know what's waiting for us. So like it's over for that now.
Yeah.
Like for all the other people, like it's over for that. Like we know what's coming.
And then you guys, looking at the season, what are your goals for this upcoming outdoor season?
My goals, I need Henry running 6s in the 60. Henry's he's setting records for the 100 here, for sure. Easily.
We all is.
Like the team goals, like our team goal this year probably has to be just to mesh because like it's a new team, it's COVID season. We're not having many meets, but like with the meets that we have, we can build like a bond very quickly. So I feel like that's like a goal for the season. Me personally, I'm rehabbing, so like I'm rehabilitating. So my goal for the season is just to get back right, so I can get back on the field with my boys.
We just trying to go out there and eat. Like we're really on a mission. Like people don't know. Like people just think it's track and field. Like everybody just thinks it's track and field, but it's so much more than that. Like,
yeah, you would expect like back in high school you would see the track and field team is full of like the band kids, like a bunch of like little skinny kids. But like nah, it's not even that for sure. Like
it's a real
athletics wise, like track athletes, like I give them props. Like it's hard. Like it's hard, bro. Very hard. Yeah. Coming from playing like basketball 4 years of high school to running track and field is a totally different world. Like totally different world.
Nah, but in terms of like I never go out there and think about breaking records and stuff like that. I just go out there and I tell myself, all right, let's just be great.
Yeah.
Let's just be great.
For sure.
Try to be better than yesterday.
For sure.
This is literally all I tell myself and go out there and compete.
Have fun. Have fun with it, of course. Gotta have fun with it, Drew. If you're not having fun, bro, you can't enjoy yourself. Look good, feel good, play good. We all know that. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for the season. I'm sure you guys can't wait for things to get started. And thank you so very much for taking the time.
Oh, yeah, of course. Enjoy it.
No, thank you for
Enjoy
having
it every
us.
time, Drew.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Don't go nowhere. Nowhere.
Welcome back on into Sidelines. Let's continue to talk track and field now. As joining me at the desk, we have Rylie Mong. Rylie, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah.
So obviously, and not to dwell on what this last year has been, but the last competition with Mansfield was, in fact, I think now officially almost a year ago, was the PSAC Championships for indoor. First of all, in that downtime, what has been the biggest challenge, especially with your event, of trying to practice?
Haven't really had much of a challenge. I think it's just hard getting used to like training in the masks and trying to figure out a way to breathe without, not getting as much oxygen as you would be used to.
It's definitely an adaptation to going back to last year. Again, not to dwell on it, but what were the emotions of the team after when everything came down? You still had the indoor season, but you were told you're not getting an outdoor season. What were the emotions of the team and of you guys?
I definitely remember we were all very sad that we couldn't have the outdoor season. I mean, it was my freshman year. I was really hoping to get a full season with my new team, but things don't always work out the way you want them to, and you kind of just have to deal with what you were given.
And despite it being a year ago, what can you take from, as a freshman, going to the PSAC Championships and indoor that you can take to this outdoor season?
Definitely confidence. I've never really been the most confident with myself when it comes to my event, but I have a team that is really close-knit and we stick beside each other, and I feel like that's really helped me so far this season to kind of be better than I was last season.
That's a thing I think with track people don't really understand, right? Is that, yeah, you're doing individual events and sometimes very different events, but that team aspect is still there. How important is that?
It's very important. I mean, definitely you, as a vaulter or high jump like Maddie, you get closer with the sprint group than you will with the distance group. But we've been really trying this year to make it so that the distance group and the sprint group are more closely knit together than being two separate, different types of teams.
It's another new thing that you guys have is a new head coach with Jamal Johnson. What difference in his time here has he made?
He is a very great coach. It's definitely different having to adjust to two new different types of coaches, like a new head coach and a new vault coach, and it's definitely been a challenge for me trying to learn both of their coaching styles with as little time as we have before our first meet.
So that first meet is coming up ever so slowly. I'm sure you guys are anxious and chomping at the bit. What are your goals for this season?
For this season, I really want to make it to the PSAX championships again. I know for my first meet is just to actually complete a vault because I only practice once a week and I haven't really been able to get a full vault. It's just kind of been plant drills, so we haven't really done anything.
Do you think that's going to be a harder like shake off of the rust than you expect, or do you think once you're it's muscle memory almost at this point?
Yeah.
Once you're back out, it'll come back?
I feel like once I get back to the actual run that I did, you know, in past years, I feel like the rest of it will just kind of click. I mean, obviously I won't have some of the technique that I had last year. It's been a year since I've vaulted, but you know, I'll be able to get off the ground safely without hurting myself.
All right, well, I can't wait. I'm sure you can't wait, and best of luck as the season goes along.
Thank you.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back on in to Sidelines. We will now talk distance side of track and field and a little cross country too, as joining me at the desk is Kevin Heeman and Kristen Tanner. Thank you both so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
So yeah, this season's going to be a little unique for you guys as you have the track season and you'll even have a championship cross country race. What is going to be the challenge balancing both of those? Because it's very different and unique type of skill sets for both of them.
Well, I'd say for me, with coming as a mid-distance runner on track, it's the biggest struggle that could be is cutting back mileage, detrain myself, losing the higher mileage so I can get back down to the middle type of mileage, right around the 40s. So that would be my only struggle. But
for me, so being a long distance runner, going into the cross country championships, going to maintain the higher mileage for a little bit. After the cross country championships, probably going to end up dropping it off to about 70 to 60 and holding that throughout the track season. So a little challenging trying to plan everything, but it'll be good.
So the good thing, I guess, is the championship race at the Lock Haven course, is a 5K as opposed to the normal what you expect. And it's a pretty flat course, so you don't really have to train for a major hill, which could be a big factor in training for track. So with that cross-country meet, let's talk about that a little bit. And what are your goals for that specific meet?
Go ahead.
well, coming into this one, I mean, yeah, we were expecting, quite frankly, we weren't expecting any cross country at all. So when our coach brought it up and said, hey, we're going to have a cross-country championship, we're like, okay. And then they slowly brought distances down and down and down. Now we're stuck at a 5K. So, and initially that does put a quick thought of, okay, well, I'd like to do this type of time. Depending on if they're going to do it on their course or on a road, that can also vary with times. But for me, just hope to be down to high 15s to see where we place, maybe mid 15s. So that'd be pretty good to see that, open up that as a track opener and know that I can progress faster on the track. So.
Yeah, exactly. So coming in, we didn't know that we were actually going to have a cross-country championship race, so came as a little surprise to us. But team's been training really well. Whether it's on the cross course they have there or on the road, it'll be a little different. For me personally, I'm thinking maybe low 15s, maybe under 15 possibly, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's cross country in March, not really something you expect. I want to go back to last year and not to dwell on how the season ended, but you guys not getting your outdoor season. What were the emotions of the teams and of you guys when the world went the way it did?
So we were all very shocked with how it happened. It came pretty sudden, so it wasn't the best feeling, knowing that we lost a season of eligibility, but now that we actually have the ability to have a season, it feels good to all of us because we've been putting in the hard work and training pretty hard, so it feels good.
Like you said, we were in our meeting and coach said, okay, well, we're not going to have a conference. And then we leave and he calls us back in and said, well, it looks like the NCAA just canceled it. So there was a lot of big news within about 15, 20 minutes, but it put a kink in things because where you're training for your outdoor times and I mean, we couldn't expect anything like that. So your view was always there the whole time. And then to come home and say, okay, well, now that we're home, it's another 9 months until we have a cross-country championship. So now we got to detrain again and then build back up. So that was the biggest struggle, to see the potential that we could have had for outdoor season and other school records to be broken, that you have to say, well, I got to put this on the back burner for another year. Hopefully we'll have it in the next year and focus on something else. So that was a bit struggle then to see that your goals and your dreams were right there and then boom, taken away really quickly. Now you got to focus on something else.
So when you guys are home, and I think it's a little easier from the cross-country standpoint to practice at home, but to get in track, especially at the mid-distance for you, Christian, was it a challenge at home to try and get that type of practice?
It actually worked out really well. I had a local school near me that was closer than my actual school I went to, and I was able to go down on their track and practice. So I was still able to do the speed workouts that our coach wanted us to do. So that I had the benefit of that. So I was beneficial in to have been able to train like that. It was different because when it comes to trials and stuff like that, there wasn't people around, there wasn't that atmosphere to pull you through or anything like that. So you really had to, in a different mindset, but it ended up working out all right. So that was a positive thing, actually.
And Kevin, how did the training change with you?
So to be honest, the training didn't really change all that much. Just mainly keeping the mileage, workouts and trials, same thing. It can be a little challenging just because by yourselves on a track or on the roads, just doing your workouts. And it was challenging, but it's good that we're all back here now and able to train together.
So I always ask this because I think a lot of people, when they see track or cross country, they think, wow, that's a very individual sport. You're by yourself, and that's not always the case. And you guys want to build that team camaraderie and that especially with cross country, the team scoring is an important aspect of it. But just truly, how important is that team aspect and that team chemistry aspect for you guys?
I'd say it's one of the most important things when we get recruits, and I can't speak for everybody, but things that I really look for is if they have the same type of goals and same push and attributes as we do, have that mindset. We're not so much trying to create a strong team. Yeah, we can have a few guys on the team that pull in some numbers, that's going to help, but I'd rather be on a team that's going to be part of a family. I'd say that's one of the biggest things. I'm going to be with you every single day. I'm going to train with you every single day. I'm going to stand you. If you're going to share the same type of passions as we do, it makes it a lot more enjoyable. And when you get into a race, you're not going to say, well, he wasn't putting in the work, so I'm not going to push as hard for him to drag him through the race. You're going to push for one another. If you see somebody else on the course, you're still going to do the same thing. So I'd say it's important, me personally, as a family matter instead of building a team.
As he said, I agree with him too. Building it more as a family rather than a team is important to me as well. The guys put in a lot of work, so going into these meets, knowing that we all worked hard together to get to that one spot that we want to be, it does feel good knowing that they're there, they're putting in the work, and just having a family bond means a lot.
So with almost that year break between event and an upcoming event, how do you keep the momentum? Because the last meet you guys were in was a championship meet. So how do you keep that momentum going through this downtime up to this outdoor season?
So keeping the momentum, it was challenging with the year break, just not having anything really to compete for in a way, just training on our own. It made it difficult, but I know that myself and the guys, we stick to it and we do the training, we get it in, and just being motivated, staying positive, and hopes for another chance to compete pretty soon. It means well, and it feels good knowing that the opportunity is here.
As distance runners, you got to be mentally tough, and as runners in general, I feel like that's something that we all commonly share. I mean, we come into the summertime, we're training 3 or 4 months before we come to practice, and then it's still another 3 months before we get a championship race to actually compete with. So seeing that end goal, it's something that we can stay in contact with for quite a bit, but it is a struggle to see no races and nothing to base ourselves off of to see any progression. So you just really have to trust in your training and just, like you said, just hunker down, do your runs. And a lot of times they're not that fun, they're not that pretty, but you might be tired. You just, once you get it in, you feel a lot better, and you can look back in your training, you come into the season knowing, well, I'm setting myself up pretty good by the time we get here, and then coach gets working with us. Feel pretty confident going into a cross-country championship.
So let's talk about some of those goals for the track aspect of your year that you're going to have here. So track-wise, what are those goals for you guys?
Okay.
Well, I'll probably be my normal, see what we can do. If we can get me in a 4x4, I'll be basing my 8, my 15. We're going to try out maybe, coach was thinking 3K steeple. That'd be nice and fun to try, and then maybe like a 1.5K 4x4. See if we can get close to school record. I get school record officially this time. The 8, coach and I were talking, we want to get low 150s. That'd pretty good, and then have that correlate over to a 345 to 347, 1500. Set that up and see where that can get me close to qualifying for nationals. So that'd be really fun. 3K steeple, we're looking, we can run 9 flat or just under 9. That'd get school record. It wouldn't qualify for nationals, but it'd get something else into the mix to see what possibilities could lie in the future for moving up. And 5K, we're just looking for around 1430. So.
Nice. And Kevin, how about you?
So the main events that I'm going to be focusing on are 5K and 10K. So the higher mileage events. Maybe possibly see if we can get like a DMR going. That'd be fantastic. So for the 5K same goal. I'd want to run 1430s, maybe low 1440s, and 10K. I want to see if I can get a provisional time for that. So 30:40, I think it is 30:40 or 30:30. So somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it should be an exciting season. I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit to get competitions in. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
What characteristics exemplify a Mansfield Mountaineer? Dedicated, motivated, unified, together. From the tops of the peak to the deep valleys, Mounties stand together. That truth has never changed, and that truth will never change. Though things may be done differently, we still stand strong. 250 student athletes, 13 programs. One mountain. One season. That's going to do it for us today, folks. To stay up to date on all things Mansfield athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. We will see you next week, and also be on the lookout as next week Mounties Midweek makes its triumphant return. Thanks for watching.